Hi, this is Dora Delalis with ThoughtsOnTheMoney.com. Welcome back to my vlog. 10 years ago today, back in October 2008, the stock market tanked. The uncertainty from the big bank bailouts and near collapse of the economy was reflected in the wild volatility of the stock market. Take a look at these headlines. The Dow Jones average at over 11,000 in the third quarter of 2008 was now below 8,500, resulting in year-to-date stock losses of over $8.3 trillion. The news of government bailouts rocked the markets, and no one wanted to be in equities. It was a scary and dismal time, and the instability was not to be contained. Imagine losing your job or worrying about your job security and at the same time watching your investment portfolio evaporate. It was not a fun time. So here are some more reasons for the financial collapse. Due to loosened regulations on the expansion of credit, banks were permitted to extend loans that were too risky for borrowers. The inception of creative mortgage instruments and their complexity also led to borrowers not understanding the mortgages that they were entering into. New mortgage products included 100% lending, mortgages with teaser rates, adjustable rate mortgages, negative amortization mortgages, and balloon payment mortgages. Then there was the mortgage fraud, reckless mortgage writing, and no verification of the borrowers. Those were ninja borrowers, no income, no job or assets. These mortgages were given to individuals that were high-risk borrowers. Then there was the deregulation that allowed securitization of the mortgages. Mortgages were bundled and sold as low-risk investments. By securitizing the loans, they passed the risks on to investors. Both borrowers and regulators should have been skeptical of these banking practices. To keep you informed of recent legislative changes that are contributing to the same economic risks, here are some current unraveling activities noted in an August 25th New York Times article. As recent as May 2018, the Dodd-Frank law was changed to allow more banks to be accepted from financial regulatory standards by increasing the asset threshold. Prior to the change, banks with assets up to $50 billion were exempt to agency oversight. The new threshold was changed to apply to banks with assets up to $250 billion. Therefore, more banks will avoid the supervisory procedures. Changes at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau are allowing reduced penalties on lenders involved in predatory lending. Then there's the easing up on the Volcker Rule. The Volcker Rule restricts large banks from using depositor money to engage in highly leveraged instruments. Next, our pending financial transgression is the outstanding student loan market and how it will impact our economy. The $1.5 trillion student loan market is the next debt crisis, according to several sources, and it's not reassuring that the White House official in charge of protecting the student loan consumer base has recently resigned. He's claimed that the changes under our current president at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has furthered their neglect in protecting Americans. In his resignation letter, he notes decisions made that lean in favor of political parties, whereas there was independence prior to the current environment. He also notes that when large banks were set up to impose excessive fees, public reporting was suppressed. It's his belief that the current practices of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau will cause the financial ruin of many Americans. One of the risks in this market is that there are no underlying assets to collect in the event of default. In addition, it undercuts the ability of the average individual to reach middle-class milestones, such as buying a home, having a family, and accumulating retirement assets. It's also been reported that the Great Recession has led to the pending student loan crisis. This is due to lack of state funding. State funding, which has been severely downsized since the Great Recession, has led to the underfunding of schools. The school funding has been severely downsized, which led to the increase in tuition. In tandem with an extremely competitive job market, expanding one's skill set looked to be the best solution. Therefore, it resulted in an increase in enrollment. Students graduating with undergraduate degrees furthered their education with a master's and taking loans for the full boat. With easy loan money provided by government guarantees and schools that promise job placement, basically paves the way to predatory lending or excessive borrowing, which is not so easily paid. With discussing today's economic volatility, I'd like to refer to a book that I reviewed on my blog about a month ago, The Age of Anomaly. The author, Andrei Polgar, is a proponent of protecting wealth and having an investment portfolio that can withstand a severe financial storm. He discusses today's economic uncertainties being global conflict, the wealth gap, reliance on technology with exposure to a cyber attack, and employment shrinkage due to technological advances. These are all factors that are forgotten when the economy is chugging along. If you've been investing for the last 7 to 8 years, it's easy to feel like an investing genius. With the stock markets reaching new record highs, now is the time to be creating a resilient portfolio. All of the sources and links to the information that I spoke about today are all in the blog post for this week, where you can also leave feedback and questions for me on these topics. So please join me next time when my topic is asset diversification and extreme money scripts. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.